Hello Internet, it's February and this month's Humble Bundle looks infinitely more appealing than January's did, at least to me anyway. Previously I've done a few of these monthly previews as articles over on our website playtopia.com.au, but this month I'm changing it up and experimenting with putting my thoughts out in a video format for easier consumption for anyone who is not so inclined to spend their time reading. The basic idea here is that I look at the promotional material for each title, as well as doing a bit of digging on Steam reviews, and then I regurgitate my internal monologue of how I perceive each game is going to be, and if it would appeal to me personally as a gamer. Right, let's get on with it. 12. Outward, plus the Sorrowbeans DLC, plus Outward soundtrack. It's always nice when Humble includes DLC or soundtracks in a bundle with games. It just makes me feel warm and fuzzy, like I'm loved by Humble, and that they're not just handing out the bare bones version of games. With this bad boy, you get the game, Outward, one of the 2 available DLCs, plus the soundtrack, bringing this title's worth alone to $92.95. That's not bad. This game is tickling a lot of my fancies right out the gate. An open world survival co-op RPG that supports Steam's remote play together? Damn. That sounds so good. Except, there's big themes across all the reviews that the game is more like old school games that give you nothing and have overpowered enemies that stomp you right from the get-go. Add to that it seems that co-op is horribly broken to the point of quests, loot and rewards all have major issues, and the appeal plummets real quick. Its regularly very high price would enrage me if I bought this game out of a bundle. And I'm super cautious of games that have a bunch of awards that state scores in the 80s but have a Metacritic score of 67. The publisher Deep Silver has a good track record with titles like the Metro series, Saints Row series and Dead Island series, but it looks like they picked a dud to back on this project. 11. Train Station Renovation. The name of this game alone puts a smile on my face. Train Station Renovation comes from the team behind recent simulation games like Car Trader Simulator and the currently in demo Building Simulator. Look, it's not going to win any awards, but it's an amusing concept, and pretty much every game has a market, right? You go to a multitude of old train stations, clean them up and renovate them. Nothing flashy, just good old-fashioned silly fun. It looks like even with a fairly low bar set, the main gripe people have with this game is horrible FPS and performance overall, which to me just screams a dev team that's churning out quantity over quality. And I'm probably not far off the mark if you look at the release dates and the styles of some of their other titles. Maybe their next title could be called Rushing Out Game Development for the Sake of a Quick Buck Simulator. 10. The Wild 8. Maybe I'm crazy, but there really seems to be a lot of open world survival games around these days. As soon as I start watching the trailer for The Wild 8, I'm immediately drawn to the art style. It appears simple but polished and gives me the sense that it's actually a lot more detailed under the hood in order to pull off that look. So while the genre doesn't interest me, I am intrigued enough to look a little deeper. This game is entirely centered on surviving from scratch in a very harsh environment while you level up skill trees and crafting abilities. The trailer actually confuses the hell out of me, because it started out looking like I would be stranded in the Alaskan wilderness, but then quickly shows off research facilities, warehouses, and a plane crash that's presumably pretty recent because it's still burning. The reviews and lack of accolades give the distinct impression that the game got pushed out without the fine tuning, because they were done putting time and money into it, and maybe not so up to par. Personally, I spend enough time surviving and leveling up my own cooking and crafting skills in real life, and prefer my games to focus on something not so close to home. 9. Werewolf the Apocalypse, Heart of the Forest. Well, look at that. Another visual novel game in a Humble Bundle. This one seems like a bit of a head scratcher, to me, the layman, as it's got a few good reviews from publications and even won an award, albeit it was for Poland's Culture Award. But everything else I'm seeing basically says that it's way too short and pretty bland, with a lack of voice acting and fleshed out lore on the werewolf side. The trailer looks pretty damn nice with the art style, and I like that it's pushing RPG elements like the character sheet into a visual novel genre. Personally, I like to put game value akin to something like a cinema ticket price, but I couldn't justify even $21.50 for what seems to be a 1 hour experience. Number 8, Iris and the Giant. Wow, what a wonderful art style. This single player deck builder looks like quite the accomplishment for a one-man development team. It looks like a labour of love and learning as he builds out an idea to create what looks to be this artist's first professional game release. He also creates pop-up books, animated movies and applications, so good on him. While I can't say Iris and the Giant has any critical acclaim to speak of, it certainly looks like a fairly relaxed roguelike card battler to spend a few hours on, and then look back fondly on. No great depth or need or play over and over again style mechanic. Just a successful personal project that looks great. Number 7, Valkyria Chronicles 4 Complete Edition. Even better than a game with DLC and soundtrack included, this time Humble are giving us a complete edition with 6 DLC packs. Sega and the Valkyria Chronicles series are well established by now, and even their shelf filler titles usually have better polish on them than a lot of other studios' releases. So this one should come down to the individual's choice and taste in games. Like previous titles in the series, this one is also a military-themed, turn-based tactical RPG. Personally, I haven't had a lot to do with Valkyria Chronicles series, and while I enjoy all sorts of anime, a story-heavy anime game doesn't really appeal to me. This one is really a horses for courses title. It's either going to be your thing or it's not, and I don't think there's much point in trying to gel with it if you don't have prior experience with this genre or this niche style of game. Number 6, Endless Space 2 Digital Deluxe Edition. If writing this script taught me one new thing in life, it's that there's now a game genre called 4X, which stands for Explore, Expand, Exploit, and Exterminate. Maybe it's my age, but I would have just called it colonization. Endless Space Register Trademark 2 is a space sci-fi multiplayer war strategy game where people aren't sinking yellow tinnies constantly. At least only a tiny minority might be. When it dropped in 2017, it garnered a frankly impressive number of awards and has that fine Sega polish and gorgeous graphics. Being set in my ways as I am, I'm unlikely to become a 4X aficionado in this lifetime, but if I was going to start, there'd be no doubt that this is a game that I'd begin with in the modern day. The trailer through Humble does it no justice whatsoever, but if you check out the Steam store page, there's a few more videos that give a much better look at what you're in for. Number 5, Lovecraft's Untold Stories. Okay, so Lovecraftian games are new to me, and not something I've had anything to do with in the past, but I'm certainly getting over pixel graphic games. Hopefully more and more people start making these same games in a modern, polished graphic style soon enough. Lovecraft's Untold Stories looks like an interesting adventure into a world full of fantasy lore and sounds like they should have decreased the footstep volume so that it's not a constant clunking throughout the game. But I do like the roguelikes, and with 5 different characters to play, there's sure to be lots and lots of variety and replayability. I'm a bit unsure about the madness mechanic, but it all adds to the flavour of the game. Number 4, Valfaris. Oh look, it's a pixel graphics platformer with an 80s synthwave colour palette and heavy metal soundtrack. How original. I know there's only so many different things you can do with game themes and mechanics, but this game looks a lot like Super Metroid, Contra, and My Epilepsy had a Devil's Three-Way, and the result came flying out of poor Samus, all chestburster style. My personal opinion in the trash, this game has great reviews, big scores, and Steam tells me similar games in my collection are Blasphemous and My Friend Pedro, so it certainly looks like it's accomplishing what it set out to do. I love its dedication to the cause with its blood, gore, and nudity. It wants to fuck shit up, and it'll do it if it damn well pleases. Nice low minimum specs while presenting a fast-paced and high-action experience. Number 3, Boomerang Fu. I can't look at Boomerang Fu without instantly being thrown back to games like Moving Out, Adventure Pals, and Overcooked 2. The art styles are so similar, that could be a good thing, or a real downfall if it lifts the game style and then bombs the gameplay. So it aims to be a couch co-op fighter, and it's got some nice awards on display. The whole Fruit Ninja style slice up is familiar but not a straight up knockoff. It's really cute too. This game looks like a scream for social game nights on the beers, but constant playability doesn't look hopeful. You would definitely get an all-nighter out of it though with the right mates. The power-ups look hilarious, and it's sure to induce long-term rivalries not seen since the days of Mario Party, just with a lot less game time. Number 2, Trine 4, The Nightmare Prince. Being 4 games into the series, I think it's relatively safe to say that the Trine series knows what it's doing and what it's trying to be. Personally, I played through the original Trine front to back and started Trine 2 but never got back to it. But I'm very happy to see that the series continued on to another 2 games. They're fun and wonderfully colourful puzzle platformers that support co-op on split screen and using remote play together. And once again, that's a huge win. Tested formula and a nice addition to this month's Humble Bundle. Number 1, Moving Out. I'll be upfront and honest with you guys. I bought Moving Out on the Nintendo Switch the day it was released, and then I bought it again on Steam shortly after because it's an amazing game and it supports Steam's remote play together function. There's also no way I won't be biased towards this game, as we've got history together, and it's nothing but good times. Coming from an Aussie studio and published by the ever-impressive Team 17, this casual co-op title fits snugly in with other feel-good vibe titles from T17, like The Escapist, Golf with Your Friends, Overcooked, and everybody's favourite homicidal garden dwellers, Worms. With pedigree like this behind them, it's hard to fail. And fail, they did not. Moving Out is more or less exactly what it says on the tin. You, and hopefully a friend, are given stage after stage of moving furniture out of various houses and into the moving truck. What could be more fun, right? Apart from a wacky range of characters and ridiculously dad joke level dialogue, this game is realistically a physics simulator, dressed in a hilariously well done outfit. The game has it everywhere it needs to, and any negative reviews are simply wrong. That's it guys, that's February 2021 preview, I guess, not review, preview of the Humble Bundle. I've been Thrax for Playtopia.com.au, and join us on Discord and talk some games.